Welcome to the Smart Influencer Podcast. I'm Christina, and my partner Corinne is not with us today, but she is in spirit. And together, we help digital entrepreneurs streamline their businesses, maximize revenue, and finally feel in control of their time. Every week, we share tried and true strategies, proven systems, and expert interviews to help you grow your audience and income without the burnout. So if you're ready to get smarter about how you run your business, you are in the right place. Now, before we dive in, if you love what you hear, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you find today's conversation helpful, make sure you share it with someone who could use it too. So today we are back again chatting with one of our favorite guests, Giangi Townsend from Giangi's Kitchen. And this time we are talking about money mindset. So this is something we all need to think about. Welcome to the show, Giangi.
Thank you so very much for having me, Christina. It is so much fun to be here again with you. So
Well,
thank you.
we always love talking with you. Why don't you remind our listeners tell them about yourself and remind them who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, I'm Giangi's Kitchen. No, I'm Giangi Townsend, the face behind Giangi's Kitchen. I think the two of them are so much of one persona that it's kind of hard to separate me from my kitchen.
You are your brand.
Yeah, I'm my brand. So, and I'm a food blogger, of course, and I concentrate on French and Italian recipe because that's my background. And so I'm really sticking to it, and I love it. I've been blogging for 15 years. It has been a fun journey.
Oops, hold on. You froze on my end. You froze. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hang on. You're back. So let me just make a note of that. 146. Um, okay, I can see you moving, so we're good. I'm gonna do that last line over again and have you reintroduce yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so let me start my clock back up. Oh, I should have just left it running. Shoot. Okay. Oh well.
It's a Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Okay. Three, two, one. Today we're chatting with my good friend Giangi Townsend from Giangi's Kitchen, all about money mindset. You might have recognized her from a previous episode we did, but we're talking a different topic today. So welcome back, Giangi.
Well, thank you so much, Christina, for having me. It's fun to be here, and I'm looking so forward to today's conversation.
Me too. Why don't you remind our listeners about who you are, where they can find you, and what you do?
Well, I'm Giangi Townsend, the face behind Giangi's Kitchen. I gotta think of that one sometime because I'm going like a one woman circus on the two. I'm a creator of French and Italian recipe because that's my background. I've been blogging for 15 years, and I get to do all the things that I love to do every day of the week, even when I'm not home. So yes, you can find me, of course, on my website, Giangi's Kitchen, and every single social media out there, and some probably. So in a
Including
nutshell,
Flipboard.
including Flipboard, including place, X and Facebook and Pinterest and
All the ones.
Substack and you name it. I think they keep on piling. But who isn't, right?
Who isn't? Who isn't on all the things?
Oh my
So
goodness, we have
today
to.
we're tackling more of an entrepreneurial topic, more so than, something that's blogging or social related. We're going to talk about that money mindset. And I think as women, especially women, this is something we struggle with. I know I struggle with it. And I think it comes from deep rooted mindsets that came, growing up for me anyway.
Absolutely. Those patterns of money that really are so ingrained between generational, literally from generation to generations. And I know, some people say, well, money doesn't go into three. And where do you think, I mean, it's just, it goes on and on and on. So it's like, how do we break away from it? And what do we do to kind of stop all that noise who stops us from becoming who we want it to be, quite
Right, that
frankly?
negative chatter almost in our minds. So I think my biggest issue, I could tell you right out of the gate, is it's that cheap mentality, right? I think, I grew up in, a middle class family. Both of my parents worked. I was a latchkey kid. There were three of us. The money wasn't abundant, but we didn't ever want for anything. But, like it was my mom lived frugally. I mean, she clipped coupons and she shopped the sale ads. And I think that mindset has come with me as an adult. So whenever I'm looking at making decisions about my business, most of the time I'm like, oh, I'm not going to hire that out. I can do it myself. I can save the money and do it myself. And I end up what I call with the duct tape bubblegum system, where I'm pasting things together and, cobbling things together to try to make it work, but it doesn't really work, but it kind of works. And whereas if I just spent the money in the beginning, I probably would have done it much faster and easier and better.
Well, see, I was having a little bit the opposite problem then,
Okay.
because I was actually raised, yes, money was, we had a nice life, I have to say. I mean, I guess, my parents both worked, and they both had businesses and so on and so forth, and money was not an issue to a certain extent.
Hmm.
However, it was an issue to give it to us. We had to, as kids, figure it out how to make our own money. So
Mm.
we became this very, I mean, I bought myself a Vespa scooter, and my dad was pretty wonderful. He said, I'll pay for half of the insurance so he could block it when he was gone. If I wanted to gas for the money, he looks at me and said, well, if you have no money, you have got legs, you can walk. It was like teaching me how to make money. Therefore, I
Right.
started working quite early. And I
Yeah.
was always fortunate, and I was in Paris, so our school schedule was 40 hours a week. I mean, I would go to school 6 days a week. So the only day I could work was a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday if they're open and if they wanted me there. So I started creating, like, I was a big drawer. So I sold my drawing and the money. So I always had the money, and I never concerned myself how to get the money and how to spend it. And I've always been the opposite person. Pretty much, I am not a salesperson. Although I put a little indent in here. I actually do coupons, big time coupons. I shop on Wednesday, on Thursday, because there's things on special. Because why pay full price when the same
Yeah.
items will go on sale that day? So I do that because, hey, sometimes you got to play the system, and if it's offered, take advantage of it. But would I live on that? No. I never shop just for the fun of shopping. Oh, because it's on sale. Never. If I need something, I go out, I see it, I buy it. I don't care about the price. So I got the opposite
Yeah,
mentality.
it's interesting because in the areas where we're very different, there's some areas where we're very much the same because it was the same for me. I've had a job since I can remember. Like I think I was 12 when I probably started earning my own money and saving. It's funny, my dad always described us. So it's myself, I have a younger sister and a younger brother. And my dad would always say, he's like, you're my saver. He goes, you still have Halloween money from when, like when you trick or treated when you were 10. He goes, your sister, she gets it, she spends it. Your brother, he spends what he doesn't have. So it's like we all have like these different money mindsets, but I am definitely the saver in the group. And I do, it's like, like I tend to like to save, and I don't know what I'm saving for sometimes. I actually have to ask myself that, like, what am I saving this for? Like, why am I not using it? And, but I've learned the value of it very early on. And I think it's that, like I'm afraid to use it because it may not come back.
Okay, I have to say something. My grandmother, I loved her dearly. She was really like a mom to me. She she told me something when I was very young. She said, I saved this for a rainy day
Yeah.
and now I can't wear it anymore. Don't ever, ever buy something and not use it, not enjoy it.
Hmm.
Because before you're ready to do it, it's gone. And
Hmm.
it was one of those little pearls of wisdom that you
Yeah.
learn throughout your life. And ever since then has been just like that focus. Like, no, I'm buying this. And if I have to hesitate on buying something, I don't even buy it. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if it's good or bad or, but it's like
That is great advice. Grandmas
that
give
advice.
great advice, I think.
Yes, I was a good thing because it just, a lot of time I have things I've done it. And all of a sudden you get 10 pounds of boof, you can't wear those shoes anymore. You're not PO'd, you can't get because of that. I was like, wait a minute, I want to wear my little Gucci shoes. What do you mean I can't fit in it? Because let's face it,
Yeah.
lady, when we gain weight, we also gain weight on our feet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think though understanding where you come from in the money area of your life is very important because those things start very early on and they're deep rooted and sometimes they're hard to break. Like I really have to have those conversations with myself when it comes to money, especially when I'm looking to make a big investment into my business. I have to have that. Like, it's literally a dialogue that goes on in my brain between, like, okay, self, like, I do the pros and the cons and I weigh it all out. And I really have to convince myself that it's okay to spend that money to grow my business or, to help take it to the next level.
Well, I have a little bit of that, but I catch myself and I go, no, my business is worthy. I am worthy of that investment because by making that investment, it will pay back in spades. And then also you and I have the opportunity to control pretty much and see how far we can push our income. Therefore, we're not limited with a paycheck coming in from somebody every month at the
Right.
same fee. We can create, expand, and we have to learn. And I learned that very early on. Then the more you invest and the better you invest, although sometimes there's a little oopsie daisy here and there. There's things sometimes we invest in
Right.
and you go, but it's like everything else. You got to kiss a lot of rock to meet your prince. So it's the same kind of thing. But it kind of grows. So the better you invest for your business, I found the better the return of my
Right.
investment comes back in. So I've never been afraid of paying for things that probably I could not afford. But
Hmm.
somehow, somewhere, because I pushed myself out there, the money actually came back.
Hmm.
Because not only I had a peace of mind and that particular part of my business was handled by someone that I really trusted, and I thought, and it is the money worth it, then it freed me to do whatever I needed to do.
Hmm.
So there's like a little shift that's happening to me, but I do invest money, probably do sometimes than I don't have in my business, and somehow it just all comes back in.
Yeah.
Comes back in. So I think it's more, but those generational patterns are hard to break. And it's very hard when you have a family members who constant, it's like negativity.
Mm.
When it's like, I love you, but, or yes, this is great, but it's
Right.
exactly the same kind of thing. So you have to kind of figure it out how to break that off. How do you go, and I think if it means like a little check mark every 2 minutes and you do yourself that.
And
You gotta do it.
I think sometimes the struggle comes with our industry gets trivialized a lot, right? It's like, oh, you tell people what you do for a living. They're like, oh, isn't that cute? Oh, you can make money at that. Oh, like we get played down and you hear that a lot. And it does, if you're not careful, it can bring you down and make you also trivialize your business too. When we are entrepreneurs, we are full-fledged entrepreneurs. We are just as legitimate as, the law firm down the street, the pizza place that we go to. We may not be brick and mortar, but we are true small businesses and we have to run our business like a small business. And that is the one thing too that when I have these conversations in my head, this is what I'm telling myself. You are a small business. You need to invest into your small business to make it grow and to keep it, flourishing.
Absolutely. I have been self-employed for a very long time, and since 2000, wasn't right after 9/11, pretty much, we used to have a manufacturing plant. We had to shut it down because insurance went insane. So we moved all our offices at home, and then we figured out like nobody really comes and see us. So I've been in a virtual office forever. I'm sometimes in India or in Saudi Arabia or in Thailand working and nobody knows about it. That's the beauty of our job. And yes, people think, oh, you're so lucky making that kind of money. You're so lucky that you could just sit there and just do pretty things. And I'm like, if you see how our brain works, which we're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
we're business owners, we get up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a thought, and that thought's not leaving us until our little patuki is sitting at our desk. And it is one of those, and people don't see that. They don't see the 10, 12 hours. They don't see them we having a conversation with a friend. Next thing you know, oh, I got it. And you take your phone and start jotting ideas down
Yeah.
because but if you are around business people, you feel beautifully in it because they have the same kind of crazy mind. It's a
Right.
squirrel brain. We go from here to there and there because we're always thinking of our next move.
Right.
So yes, people think, being a blogger is just like this cute little thing. Then we just make a cute little recipe and then we write about it and we just moving right along.
And
I'm
we
like,
sit on Facebook all day or
oh
Instagram all
yeah,
day, and we're just doing cute little
absolutely.
things, and we're not really, they don't realize the business behind it and the entrepreneurial skills and muscles that we're flexing every single day. And you're absolutely right. And like that's something that, again, these are these conversations I have with myself. I especially have that one on my CEO day. I always have a CEO day for myself. And I sit there and tell myself, you are a business owner and you are going to run this like a business and you're going to look at the numbers and you're going to take the time to work on your business and not in your business. And like I have those little pep talks with myself and I try not to let other people's limiting beliefs become my limiting beliefs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's insane. And sometimes are your family that the worst.
Yeah,
I mean, love them dearly. Please understand, family. I know you guys going to listen to this, but they have the worst on limiting you. Granted, for me, I'm very fortunate. I'm surrounded with people who all own businesses, so it's kind of easy. But the people who don't, they don't understand. They think they can
right.
pick up the phone and say, "Hey, would you like to go play?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
You
Some
know,
people don't feel comfortable unless, and that's okay because that could be how they were brought up. Like they only feel comfortable when they're getting a paycheck from someone else. It's when you go into that risky area where
yeah.
someone is not writing you a paycheck every week or every other week that it gets scary and it becomes this thing, this enigma that they don't understand. And I was fortunate enough, like my dad, I always said was a serial entrepreneur. I mean, the man had his hands in everything. So it's no wonder that I'm an entrepreneur, my sister's an entrepreneur. I mean, it's just, it was kind of in our blood, like to think like that. I'm even, training my son to be like he has his own business and we did it right. I'm like, you're going to form an LLC, you're going to get an accountant, you're going to, like all these things. And he sees the benefits of doing that and I tell him I'm like you are a true businessman now. You're not just a kid who's cutting people's grass. You are a businessman. I want you to make business decisions.
Absolutely. And and it's there and in that industry, and in not a lot of industry, I think there's a difference, between the business owner and the entrepreneur, the person who is a business.
Hmm.
It's a bit, sometimes it's kind of hard to explain it, but I call it some of them, like, the kitchen tables business owner, they're sitting there and complaining about every little things,
Right.
has they still have the mentality of the paycheck versus the mentality of, oh, I am in charge of this situation. I make all the moves that can match what I want to make,
Hmm.
the energetic match to all the moves that I make. Therefore,
Yeah.
I'm the one who creates this instead of, oh, I have to do this. And there's such a difference between those two things. And
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur, it takes a lot more than just, okay, I'm getting my little X amount of dollars per month. I'm happy. I'm like, no, there's always tomorrow steps. There's always tomorrow
Yeah.
steps. There is always an avenue. And we also look at things a little bit different. We also diversified a lot more ourselves more. They're a lot more flexible in our thinking and our
Mhm.
thoughts, but also just uh, as business owner, we really have a different mind. We really
I
do.
agree. I agree with that 110%. I actually said to my husband last week, I'm like, do you mind? I think I want to put a whiteboard in the shower. Because that's where I get all my ideas. And I think that's like the one time where my brain can actually process things. It's the hot water beating down on me. And I'm like, I get some of my best ideas in the shower. And I'm like, I want a whiteboard in there to catch them all, like so I could write them all down.
Well, mine is at 3 o'clock. I wake up at 2:14 every morning, and by 3 o'clock, I already made my whole day is already all done. So literally, I get out of bed, I come here, and I sat here and do the thing. And I used to have a cup of coffee at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to stop that because when sometimes I sleep in, my body wakes up. Where's my coffee? But that's a side point. But I do
That
exactly
explains
this.
a lot. I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, but yeah, you're always around when I'm awake.
I know because I love it. Okay, I have a wonderful husband. I love him to pieces, and I have a wonderful dog. But they're both a royal pain in the neck. So I love, and my husband has been self-employed for 52 years. So he is the biggest force behind me. Which I'm sure you also have a husband who's like the same way, and you have a son who's also very supportive because all of you are working. So it's just, but he's a very big, but he understands. And when I go,
Hmm.
he knows to just walk away.
Yeah.
Because it's like he understands and he pushes and you see, and I've been self-employed for what, 35 years now, so not just a
Yeah.
day. So it's just kind of like, wow.
I think they're also like conscious mindset shifts that we make, right? So years ago, when I was working full time, this was even before my son was born, I dabbled in the home party business, right? So somebody had brought me this catalog and they're like, hey, I'm having this home party. And it was for home decor items. It was Southern Living at Home. I loved it. I'm like, I want everything in this book in my house. And when I went to the party, the girl's like, well, you should become a consultant. I'm like, sign me up. I get all get all the discounts. And she like wooed me, and I am a marketer's dream. So I'm like, sign me up. I had no idea what it involved. And I quickly learned I am not a salesperson. So anyway, long story short, I went to this event where I had a display table at the event, and it was all these women, and I had one person book a party from me. So I had to pay money to have this table at the event. I wasted an entire night at this event, and I got one party, right? So I was like very down in the dumps about that and feeling very dejected. I'm like, oh, woe is me. My business stinks. I'm not making money. I got one party, blah, blah, blah. I was very much like Squidward on SpongeBob. Like I can almost like hear the voice in my head. Then a couple weeks later, I started thinking about it because I'd had that party. And from that party, I booked three more parties. I booked a consultant under me. And then the consultant under her booked a consultant under her. So now you know how like that works with the home party business. They're all under my umbrella now. So when I got thinking about it, I'm like, huh, yeah, I booked one party, but from one party, like I spent that, I don't know, $200 or $300 for that table. Oh, I made my money back. Like when I look at it, when I step back and actually looked at the big picture, I could see it. But if I was just focusing in the moment on the small picture, it was a total letdown. So I think sometimes my point with the whole story is sometimes you have to look at the big picture and take a step back and see what that opportunity is.
Sometimes even three steps back because we are so into our
Yeah.
business that we don't understand, we don't see it. We literally don't. And sometimes it's wonderful to have another sets of eyes
Yeah.
look in it and see what we do because for us, we look at things, we're doing things mechanical after a while. And so it's nice to have a third eye going, hey, how about this? How about that? How about that? Going back to your thing, I did the same thing, multi-level marketing. I
Hmm.
did the same, loved it. And I think everyone should do multi-level marketing once in their lifetime because you learn, no, you learn your strengths,
Yes,
you'll
you
learn
do.
your weaknesses, and you'll learn then if you can survive the ups and downs of multi-level marketing, you can survive and create your own business because you're working so hard for somebody else who can pull the rugs and within a day,
Oh yeah.
all done. And I've seen it happen to so many friends. It happened. I pulled away. I was working for a wonderful company, loved it, skincare, loved it. But I just, one day I walked in, I lost two consultants, and eight orders got canceled. I said, that's enough.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm done with this. So, and I said, if I'm going to put this much effort, I'm going to do something with mine. Thus, me pivoting to my blog, and it was the best decision ever.
Hmm.
But so, but that taught me how to be persistent, how to be
Right.
consistent, how to be determined.
Right. A
Thus,
lesson I learned from mine that I took away was the phrase no, not ever or no, not now. Like when people would say, like, so the woman who was above me, like when she was giving me advice, she's like, so when you ask somebody if they want to have a party and they say no, she got my initial answer is like, okay, I'll never ask you again. I'm done. Like I'm not pushy. I am not that person. I am like, I will retreat. But she's like, no, you say no, not ever or no, not now. And 90% of the time people will say, oh, just not right now. I've got this going on, that going on, but maybe in 3 months. So I've learned to kind of say that to myself with things. Like it may not be an opportunity for me right now, but that's not to mean I'm canceling it out forever.
yes, that's why there's the term back burner. There is
Yeah,
a lot of times, sometimes we have great idea, which makes a lot of sense, but it's not the timing correct now
right.
to bring those things in. But we keep them there because we need to percolate them and let them
Hmm.
grow. So, but yes, going back to the money part of
Yeah.
it, the stigma of people, I think, is just generational, but also people are afraid. They're afraid of what others going to think if they're making money.
Yeah.
And that stems, I think, from the fact that new people are not comfortable with themselves. Do you
Hmm.
think the people who owns a big corporation, they really care? No, they don't. They just continue on.
Hmm.
So I think it's just how to break that pattern, how
Right.
to make yourself just know that everything you do, it's okay to do. Every money penny then you spend and you think about it and you put on your business is coming right back at you. How do you break that? And how do you position yourself mentally also to be that? But a lot of people, what I've noticed, they think of, I need, if I'm rich, I need to have money in my bank, and I'm never going to have that because all the money goes out. There is another part of money that people don't see. And I think is we think of money as how many zeros we have on our bank account,
Hmm.
but we don't see money or wealth as what we have accomplished in our life.
Mm,
Paying our car, our home, our kids' educations, our furnitures, I mean, our trips, all that is being part of the money that you have created, have spent brings you that. So that
right.
brings you value. So once you start putting that value into yourself, hey, look what I have accomplished. I
Hmm.
may have $0 in my bank account, but this is what I've spent it in. And I think we need to look at our business in the same way. We invest in a house, we invest in our business, we buy a new car, we invest in a VA, we invest on purchasing furniture, we invest in on somebody who does our mailing. It's like it's kind of on the same
Right.
aspect. And so by doing it that way, you just go, oh, because your house sits there, doesn't bring you anything, but it brings you value, then you don't see.
Hmm. That's
Your
true.
money, the money that you invest out to a phenomenal VA is the money that it takes you away from doing duties that you have done, and she uses, and that's your potential while you can be doing something else. So that's a great investment. It's like, so you kind of compartmentalize everything and kind of look at it from that point of view, and you go, ah, well, duh.
Yeah, but like with money, right? So if you had those dollars, if you had the stack of cash
Mhm.
and you squandered that, like were just spending it on frivolous things and you weren't and in the end you're left with nothing. It's the same thing with the time, right? So you hire a VA, everybody's telling you in order to grow your business, you need to outsource so you can scale, da 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 da, like all that stuff. And I totally believe in that, right? So you hire the VA to take some of the smaller tasks off your plate so you could spend time on bigger tasks. But if you don't spend the time on the bigger tasks and actually invest your time into your business, you will have just squandered away that money.
Absolutely.
Right? I
But
think you have to be smart in how you are spending because your time is your money too.
oh, time is money. I remember when I first started this industry, everybody, and blogging was not what it is now. This, business accumulates. It was just the beginning. I remember people were coming to me and asking me for things, and I was taking some, and I don't mind helping. I'm like you. You and I think hit it off because we just like, what can I do for help,
Right.
But I got to a point, it was becoming so ridiculous. So I decided my time is precious.
Hmm.
I have to pay the bills like everybody else. Therefore, if I'm taking an hour away from my time, that's mean then this is money not coming in. And so I decided, yes, I would love to help you. My fees are $175 per hour for 2 consecutive hours.
Hmm.
Cut everybody off. Not because I needed that money. It's because, like, understand that time is money.
Right.
Money is time, and therefore, if I'm gonna do something, I want to be either you take the 15 minutes of my time, and then whenever do, and it's a business thing, but don't take me out to lunch for 4 hours expecting to drain everything out of me and then just disappear. Don't say, hey, what can I do for you or anything of that sort. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It's like, I'm
Right.
sorry, I love lunch more than anybody else,
Yeah.
but not where I'm working.
You just worked for salad.
I work for salad, and even then, I'm just like, I'm not doing it,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like that in our industry. It's like, oh, can I just pick your brain? I've done it a few times with you, but
Well, and that's fine amongst, trusted friends and stuff. And I've always said I'm an open book. I'm willing to share whatever I
Mhm.
have. I don't gatekeep.
Yeah,
Um, you may not agree with how I do things, or, you might think you have better ideas, and that's perfectly fine. Tell me those better ideas because maybe they are, and I would love to incorporate them too. But, I think as business owners, we have to believe our time is valuable and our like the way we can build our business, what we know in our heads. You know, Corinne, I wish Corinne was here today because she always puts it this way. You have your $10 tasks, your $100 tasks, and your $1,000 tasks. We should
yes.
not be spending our time doing the $10 tasks. We need to
No.
work ourselves up to where we are focused on those $1,000 tasks. So if we're outsourcing the $10 tasks, right, we have to make sure that we're replacing that time and we're putting that time that we just saved towards those $1,000 tasks of growing our business and the strategy and taking us to the next level, because otherwise we are just wasting that money
That's
and
right.
you're just it's just hemorrhaging out of your business.
And that, I think, it comes from the aspect of, have you ever looked at a corporation and how a corporation is set up? And
Hmm.
I'm countering more and more people who were employees
Hmm.
who became business owner, but they don't understand a structure of a business. It
Right.
has accounting, it has sales, it's got marketing, it's got research and development, it's got all those assets. So I think it's like, you, before you become an entrepreneur, you need to see that part of a
Yeah.
business and
Yeah.
then bring it to your own business. Maybe a different scale, but let's face it, business is business. At
Right.
the base of a business is the same. So take it there and say, okay, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be, and this is the money that I want to make. But for me to hear, this is what we need to do. So you go through all the steps, and of course, at the beginning, you just have to do it all the little crazy, insane stuff. But at one point in time, it's like, I was at a meeting and a summit, and a wonderful lady, and I wish I remember her name to credit her for this. She says, you have to look at a thing, say, does it need my brain? Or does it need a brain?
Right.
And as soon as she said that to me, it was like, wow, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
My
Because
brain or any brain.
any brain. And so, or a brain. And I was like, okay, so the things that don't need you, then
Hmm.
you can start farming them out. Hire someone, but please, for the love of God, train them. Okay, don't expect miracle out of people for your industry.
Yeah.
I mean, when I train my VA, we do a recording session,
Yeah, we
and
do
it's
too.
only one thing at the time,
Yes.
because my money and her money are. I mean, she's wasting time and on doing things, and she can't figure it out. I'm wasting time to have her do things. So as a business owner, you train them. That's mean you make sure that in a small paragraph at the time, you record them, send in the
Hmm.
recording. It's amazing how much it works.
Hmm. I agree. I
So
agree.
you do that, and so you post that out, and then you look at the next thing, and then once that is out and make sure, then you are the one who taught me that. Is it bringing me money?
Yeah.
You have this great thing. You're created this great Airtable, and it's like, is the money taken? And it's like, and you kind of look at it, but like with every business, you kind of look at it. Is it really working? It's not working, and you invest the money there. Next step, you take the next step. So you get to the point, and you kind of start hiring and farming out all the stuff, so you can concentrate on the main part of your business.
Right.
And that's sometimes, but that takes the money to do it, but also the thought of, if I want to run this as a business, I cannot run it as a kitchen table
Hmm.
things. I have to run it as a real business, like you do. You take a CEO days. I take my that I call my admin day is on
Right.
Monday. Everything that I need to do, my banking, my this, my that, and so on and so forth. And on Sunday, I plan my week.
Right. But it takes guts. I think that's the other thing it takes. It takes guts, right? It's risky to step
Mhm.
out and, to write that first paycheck or to pay that VA the first time. I mean, that's scary stuff. I remember the first time I did it, I'm like, oh my gosh, can I afford to do this? Even when I left my job to do my blog full time, I'm like, oh my God, can I afford to do this? I don't know if I can afford it. And then, I remember listening, I was making 4 cents. I was just telling, so I started teaching this college course and I was telling the story in my course. When I first started my business, I was making 4 cents on Google Ads a day on my blog. I was thrilled. I was making money, right? 4 cents. Awesome. And then I listened to this training. That was back when like Google Hangouts were a thing. So I would listen on my way to and from work every day. And I got home from work this one day and I made a couple tweaks to my Google ad layout based on what I learned. The next morning I got up, I made $4. That is a huge, okay, 4 cents to $4 is
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
1,000x. It's
Yeah.
humongous. It's a
Yeah.
huge growth. And that was the light bulb that went off in my head that went, huh, that was one tweak I made. Took me 30 minutes. Imagine if I put my whole brain towards this. What could I do? But that was a big risk, right? To be able to do that, to leave my job to do that. I'm not saying, do that. But what I'm saying is it definitely it's a gut check, right?
Uh-uh.
You have to have the guts to be able to do it. But then you also have to give yourself grace that if it doesn't work the first time, that doesn't mean it's not going to work ever. Maybe you just need to tweak something.
Success is not built on success, it's built on failures who become
True.
success because you learn. We learn every day. We
Yeah.
learn. I mean, we have been doing this, you and I, for what, 15 years,
Yeah.
and we still learn every
Every
day.
day.
And also that we became very ple, placent. Oh my God, I can't even
Complacent.
speak.
Yeah.
Thank you. Complacent
Complacent.
to what
Yeah.
we do every day. Then sometimes we do need that wake up call.
Right.
We do need to talk to other people like us. We do need to be in master classes. We do need to listen to
Yeah.
everything. Also, do not spend your whole day listening to it. Pick and choose. You'll have your favorite after a while.
Yeah.
It's like going down the rabbit hole of social media. I'm on social media maybe 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Timer on, off the door I go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, but you have to learn. But also, when you learn, practice. Take note and practice before you
Right.
move on to the next one. Because I've known so many people who go from class to class to class to class, always wanting to learn, but never once applying
Right.
what they have learned into their business. And is you applied it, you learned, you applied it, you moved on to the next one.
Hmm.
You'll be surprised how many people who just sit there, oh, it didn't work. Well, because they thought about it, but they never actually apply it. Or if they did apply it, they didn't have the success like overnight. Well,
Yeah.
things takes change. I mean, you went from 4 cents to $4. Well, I remember making $1.25 a day, and I went, yahoo! What that. So I get you. I totally get
Right.
it. When I look at my paycheck now, and I'm sitting and looking at my money, and say, okay, how much money do I have to make to pay for all this, and then how much more I want
Yep.
to do.
And I
I
think,
think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, I was going to say, I think too, this is a muscle you have to condition and grow, right? Your money mindset muscle, like thinking about this and really getting it to where you want it to be. It's not something you could just flip your switch and say, well, I'm going to be attracting money and I'm just going to have this positive outlook. It's one of those things you have to work at it and you have to grow that muscle and use it often. And I like to, like, I found for me what's most successful is surrounding myself with people who have that positive money attitude towards me. Like in mastermind groups where we're all working towards growth and things like that. And I'm telling you, these are the people, and you're one of them, the people that can talk me off that ledge when I'm just not in the right headspace and you're like, no, you're thinking about this wrong. And they're not afraid to call you out and to put give you that tough love that you need and tell you that you're thinking about it wrong and encourage you to take the risk. And so whether that's a mastermind, whether you're in a free mastermind or a paid mastermind, or you have a business coach, sometimes you need that little bit of help to help get you over all that baggage you brought with you from your childhood and your past, whether it's a recent past or a distant past.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's how we thrived. I mean, I was very fortunate, that I'm surrounded by people. Well, like mind people around it, and if you have that, it's like the same thing. I'm an energetic match for the moves that I make. It's the same thing. Everything comes to you because you create it,
Right.
and negativity comes to you because you call it on. It's like,
Right.
and as I think is doing the double check is
Hmm.
very important. And yes, surround yourself with people like you who will call your stuff and go, no, 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 no. But also but those are also a different sets of eye on your business.
Hmm.
We all do. I mean, I call my business, I am a benevolent dictatorship. And I've learned that working with my husband. Oh yeah, yeah, we. But at the end of the day, it's a benevolent dictatorship. Whoever's in the helm decides. But it's always nice to have friends. I have my husband. He had me for years now. He's my sound. Have a sounding board. Someone then you trust, then believes in you, then sees what you're doing, but also has a business savvy mind. Then it doesn't matter what subject matter we're talking about. For business point, has the business sense to go, okay, Christina, talk to me. So why do you do this? Why do you think of that? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And it's just kind of a wonderful
Right.
thing to do. I had a business coach and I worked with a long time ago, and we had a one-on-one, and within 20 minutes that was over because all of a sudden she had her eyes on my business. How about pivoting this way? And I went, duh. And it was
Right.
such a small little pivot who made huge difference in my income, my mindset, and everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I totally agree. I think surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, like you, who are
Mm-hmm.
not afraid to, tell you what it is. And please don't be afraid also accepting the the
Yeah.
criticism, because it's constructive criticism. It's not because your success and their success are coming hand in hand. And
Yeah.
if you take it personally, then you're on the wrong business.
Well, as Corinne always says, she goes, I'd rather be told I'm wrong by people I love than from complete strangers. So it's
Yeah.
true. Like when I'm in my mastermind and, you know, the people there are giving tough love, I'd rather hear it from them. I'd rather be told I'm wrong or going down the wrong path or I should try a different path by somebody who cares about me rather than, a complete stranger.
Oh,
It's easier. And I know it's not coming at me from a negative perspective. They want to see my growth.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
And
if you
they,
don't have that at home, like if you're not in that type of environment in your home life, in your personal life, then find it online. There are so many people I think, in our industry who are willing to form, masterminds or find your tribe and get with those people and surround yourself with those people. If there's Debbie Downers in there, you got to cut that loose. That's not
oh,
helping you.
and also, please don't chastise me with this, but grow a pair and say, hey, that's enough. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear that negative talk.
Yeah.
And because sometimes we have to, and that's part of putting our boundaries up.
Yeah.
And we really do have to put our boundaries up to those people,
Hmm.
because I swear there is millions of them who just don't understand, and because they don't understand, they think we're wrong or we're right or they're right.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not, that nobody is right, nobody is wrong. It's like either you support me or you just don't say anything
Right.
on that, or if you can't find a criticism, or you can come up with an idea to, hey, I saw this and I really loved it and I wanted to share with you because maybe there is something in there for you.
Right.
Those are the people you want in your life.
Yeah.
You want the people who go, oh, why, you should do this, you should do that. Instead of, oh, why are you hiring people to work for you? Well, you could do it yourself and save the money. Well, yeah. And if I save that money, I will not be making that money because that person, that investment is bringing me the money.
Yeah.
Then I mean, it's this kind of never ending circle. And you really have to put the boundary. You have to say, no, this is my business. I'm going to run it the way I want to.
Mm.
Surround yourself with people like-minded, and just the money will come. You just work, get yourself a goal, and the money will come. It always has. I'd be surprised how often it does. I mean, we can get
Yeah.
into the universe over here and doing other things.
Manifesting.
Manifesting. I mean, hey, listen, my son is a manifester, but you do manifest things because you just remove all the road blocks, and you free yourself to accept every ideology. Because if you're
Right.
sitting there going, well, I'm not going to do this, I can't do this. Oh, but but oh, what are they going to say? You're never going to move. You're never going to make a
Yeah.
step forward. If you're going to have that little voice in your head who keeps saying, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Well, of course you can't do it, because a voice tells you not to do it.
Right.
Instead of going, no, look how far you have come. Do you know how many bloggers there is out there? How many are on the top and how many are leaving every month, and you're still in there. So, hey, I'm here today. I will be here tomorrow, and I'll be here next month, and I'll be here 10 years from now, God willing.
And I feel this is almost like the most appropriate time to have this conversation because our business is in such flux right now with everything changing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on between Google and Pinterest and AI and all this stuff. The sky is falling in so many directions right now. And I think this is the time where, you know, it there are people that can't handle this kind of stress. It's a lot of stress. And that's fine. If that's not you, that's fine. There's no judgment here. But if you're choosing to stay in it, I think now is the time. You've got to get that your head on where you're having that positive attitude and you're surrounding yourself with the people who can help you grow and can help you kind of, you know, put your best foot forward and make those decisions. And if you struggle making them, they're giving you that little nudge that you need.
Yes, and there is an old expression. So, my husband loved to say this. It's like when the business is running smoothly, even my mother can run it. But when all the chips are down, and that's what it is. And I think actually I'm looking at it from a total different perspective. all those changes with Google's and Pinterest and so on and so forth are actually beneficial to us who are doing the work every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm saying that is because during 4 years ago, we got saturated. Everybody staying at home decided to be a blogger. And
Mm-hmm.
then AI came along and everybody's like, well, I'm going to do this. So if you are honest to your heart and do what you want to do, all those updates, all those things are eliminating all the bottom feeders. God,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really very bad with words today. I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
not that bad, but you know what I mean. It's like it eliminates all the people who should not be there to give the opportunity to people like you and me and our groups of friends that we have who work hard, create, talk, expand the things to the true people who really do want this to happen for them.
Yeah. I mean, think about a farmer, right? So the farmers have their fields of crops. Every so often, they've got to burn it down,
Oh God, yeah,
right? They light the whole field on fire, they burn it down,
to
and then that
enrich the
allows, and
soil.
what comes up out of that? The new growth.
Yeah,
And
enrich soil.
yeah, you've got to position yourself for that. And I think you have to be in the right mindset and you need to be strategic about your business. So some baby steps I think you can do for that. Number one, surround yourself with people who can help you with that. Number two, have a CEO day for yourself, whether it's once a week, once a month, once every other week, whatever it is, have a CEO day for yourself where you're spending time working on your business and
Mm-hmm.
not in your business. And number
Yep.
two, like
Read.
find a book, find a, something that can help you with those limiting beliefs that you have about money and, those mindset beliefs that you have. I mean, like I mentioned to you, I had, the way we grew up, but also when I was in college, I owned a set of, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word now, a chain of stores. We had 3 stores that I was co-owner in, and it turned out our general manager embezzled a ton of money out of us. So not only did I have money issues from that, I had trust issues, like big time trust issues and trust issues around money. So I'm to the point now where I don't let other people near my money. And so I have a hard time with that. So I have to kind of work through all that stuff. And we've all got that baggage, right? In some way, shape, or form.
I mean, a divorce is the
Everybody's got
same exact
baggage.
thing. A divorce, which
Everybody.
everybody has a baggage,
Yeah.
but it's what you do with that baggage
Right.
that it separates you from
Yep.
being a successful person who are still living on the same thing. Because I've known people who've been divorced 15, 20 years and they're still bitter to the ex and they
Right.
will never move forward. They will never have anything happening positive in their life because they're still bitter. Let it go. Literally,
Right.
let that stuff go.
That's what's holding you back. So I think like those are some very actionable things you can do right now for your business. So if you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to stay, if I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, I mean, these are some things you can do for yourself to position yourself for greatness moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm a
And I
firm believer in that. And when all the crazy is going on around me, I look at what can I control and what can't I control? I'm not stopping AI. I can't send an email to Sam Altman and say, "Hey, can you slow it down a little bit? You're starting to hurt my business." Like that can't happen, but I can control how I react to it.
And you can control because we're very fortunate that all that information is thrown out there. What AI does, we know pretty much what it does. So it's up to us to take that and pivot and go,
Mhm.
okay, this is what you're doing, but this is what you can't do. I'm going to pivot to that.
Right.
Like, for instance, they can't be you. AI cannot be your voice. Your readers know your voice, know it better than anything else. AI cannot copy all you step by step. I was in a meeting, this lady started saying, well, that's the way we cook in Italy, and that's the way it's going to be. And I'm like, no, this is if you want to be successful, you have to listen
Yeah.
and pay attention to what they say because they give us the key.
Yeah.
All those things that Google does tells us every single day what they expect from us. And
Mhm.
if we do not use our brain to see those and pivot to, oh, so you want me to talk to my people? Well, great, check mark, I've done that. You want me to take all, you're not going to penalize me because I'm doing all the step, check mark. By the time of the day, you literally will have overcome whatever is thrown at you. And yes, your stats will go down for a little bit, but you will be still there. But I've noticed a lot of the people who have losing a lot of their business are the people who are just not following that, having audits and not doing the work. It takes work to be in this business. It takes
It
work to
most
be a
certainly
business
does.
owner. So you have to do the step. Things don't come to you. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
And I think all those things happening right now, I think it's our opportunity to literally thrive even more because we know what is expected, we know what we need to do, and we can overcome it. I mean, at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
we can. So it's like, take advantage of that. I mean, I know I'm, Mary Poppins over here with the little goody shoes, but you gotta look at it that way. You
You
can't be
did
sitting.
whack us with your umbrella a few times there, Mary.
I did. But it's like, do you think Amazon's or Bill Gates or Bezos, they really care about any of that stuff? No, they say, what is my next step? What is my next step? What is my next step? They don't care. Well, start thinking that way. God, I'm really getting very out there. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be so out there, but it's like,
No,
it's
it's
seriously,
okay.
you have to pivot. You got to change. You got to pivot. You got to change. You got to pivot. You got to stop listening to all the noise and just say, this is my business. This is my future. This is what I want to be. This is what I'm going to be. This is my line. Period. Stop all the rest of it. By all means, one more thing I have to say, and then I'll just calm down. And I only had one cup of coffee. So stop listening to everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody's, I'm sorry, back up. Stop listening to all the chatter in every single group into social media because
Right.
there is more naysayers. Like you said earlier, surround yourself with people like your brain who do things like you. But in the positive, they have a plan, they have a future, they have goals. So those are the things you need to look into a group because there is a groups who are always complaining. That's not the groups you want to be in. If you want to be successful, you got to surround yourself with those people. And I think we have been going right back at it on this same thing. Surround yourself with mind-like people over and over.
So this was your tough love session. We're helping you, or it's tough love, but it's coming from a very positive place because we want to see you succeed. And these were the lessons that I think that we've learned, the hard way in business. And so learn from the lessons that we've learned along the way and don't, you don't have to go down the path that we've gone through. But I think there's a lot of actionable things you can do here today. So I hope that, those listening, that you found something positive from this tough love and you take it and run with it. And we just want to see you grow the biggest and baddest and best businesses that you can. And we're here rooting for you and cheering you on because it only makes our industry better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yep.
it's you succeed, we all succeed. And that's what it boils down to. So, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like,
No, 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 no. That's okay.
but I get so frustrated sometimes about listening to that because we
No,
have to.
and we all need tough love every now and again, and we just need to, the reality doesn't always need to be sugar coated, and we need to hear it the way it is, and you know, put on our big girl pants and fight the fight the next day. So thank you for
Absolutely.
joining us today, Giangi. This was a great conversation, and I think a very much needed. I needed it, so it was definitely a much needed kick in the pants. If you want to learn more about Giangi, you can head on over to her website. Why don't you remind us where they can find you?
Find me at giangiskitchen.com as Giangis kitchen.com. And as G is in George, by the way. I'm French, so the G and the J for me is like. And of course, I'm also on Pinterest, Flipboard, X, Facebook is all there. But once you go to my website, then you can just search me for everywhere else if you want to. But
And we'll be sure
Christina,
to
thank you.
we'll be
Thank you.
sure to put all those links in the show notes. You're so welcome.
Thank
And
you.
I hope that you picked up some lessons today and just, a little bit of inspiration or maybe you got the kick in the pants that you needed, but we'd love to hear from you. So make sure you tag us on Instagram at The Smart Influencer with your biggest takeaway, or just drop us a DM and let us know how you're applying what you've learned. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. We'll be back next week with Corinne and another episode to help you grow smarter, work less, and earn more. We'll see you then. Bye.